What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be taking a look at another hack the box starting point tier 2 machine called Oopsie. This one's going to require some Linux, PHP, and some set user ID. Alright, so we're going to be dealing with some privilege escalation it looks like. So if you haven't already, let's get your Pwn box going and spawn that machine, as it can take a couple minutes to spawn. And one of the first things we like to do is go ahead and get our Nmap Scan going. And while that's running, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these questions, see if we can answer them. What kind of tool can intercept web traffic? So that's going to go ahead and be a proxy. So let's go ahead and do proxy. All right, cool. What is the path to the directory on the web server that returns a login page? So we don't quite know that one yet. See what we got open here. We got port 22 open, and we have port 80. So we should be able to just go over here, do yeah. All right, cool. So we do have a nice little website here that we can mess around with. So let's go ahead and go here to Burp Suite. If this is your first time using Burp Suite, I recommend getting a little bit more familiar with it, as it does come in handy. And we're going to go ahead and navigate to proxy. We're going to turn this intercept to off for now. And then you could just go ahead and open the browser. All right. And then we're just going to navigate to the IP address. And we're going to go over here to HTTP history and see what we got here. So here's our IP address that we're using, 141.157. And based off this, it looks like there's a folder called CDN tech CGI, or directory, with the login, so we can actually do slash, what was it, CDN tech CDI slash login. And that brings us to a login page. And I think one of our questions, yeah, so slash CDN tech CGI slash login. What can be modified in Firefox to get access to the upload page? So that could be the cookies, but we'll go ahead and take a look at this some more. All right, so we don't have a username or password, but it looks like we can log in as a guest. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, it's pretty simple so far. We got account, branding, clients, uploads, logged in as guests. Let's go to uploads. This actually requires super admin rights, so we don't have rights for that. We can go to clients, client at hack the box, client ID 2. If you look up here, you can actually see ID 2 here. If we switch that to 1, see what we get here. Client ID 1, name is TAFCZ, email is john@tafcz.co.uk. That might come in handy later, so I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. And we'll go ahead and go back. Let's go to account. Okay, so we have an access ID for the guest, and we also have the ID up here as well. So let's go ahead and change that to a 1 and see what we get. Okay, so the access ID for the admin is 34322. Email is going to be admin@megacorp. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back to that uploads page and see what we get. And the question was, what can we modify to get access to it? We go here to inspect. We have cookies here for our IP address that we're using. And it shows the access ID for the guest. So we might be able to switch those, but let's go over here real quick and see if cookie's the answer they're looking for. What is the access ID of the admin user? We actually wrote that down. That would be 34322. On uploading a file, what directory does that file appear in on the server? We're not familiar with that yet. Let's go ahead and change some of these values to admin, and we also had the access ID of 34322. And let's just go ahead and just refresh this page and see what happens. Okay, so now we do have an option to upload because we switched the cookies information from guest to admin. So we can possibly do a reverse shell. Let's go ahead and do a go buster real quick. Attack you. IP address. And then it's attack W. Enter share. I'm just gonna do a common. And then tack in so I can hide a lot of the progress. While that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and open up another one. See if I have a reverse shell in here or not. Yeah, so I downloaded a PHP reverse shell offline. You could just go to Google and type in PHP reverse shell, and you'll find one on a GitHub repository. So we're gonna have to modify it. So we can nano PHP type reverse shell.php. And what we're looking here for is we're gonna change out the IP address and the port number. So we'll go ahead and change this to the IP address of our system, which we don't know quite yet. So let's pull up another one, do ifconfig. And the reason why we're going to use our IP address is because we're going to set up a listener here in a few. 10.10.15.248. We can leave it on port 1234 is fine. Go ahead and save it. All right. So looks like it found a couple things from GoBuster. Looks like it's gonna upload to an uploads folder. So we'll go over here, /uploads, submit. All right. What is a file that contains the password that is shared with the Robert user? I'm not quite sure what that is yet. So now we'll just go ahead and try and upload. We're going to go ahead and choose the file. Do the one in my downloads folder. Select that. Just name it something and then go ahead and click upload. I noticed sometimes I had to upload it multiple times for it to work. But we'll go ahead and get a netcat listener going right now using NC for netcat. And then LVNP, and then I'm using port 1234, but whatever port you were using, just go ahead and do that. And then now we should be able to navigate to the uploads. So I'm just going to open up a new tab and do 10. /uploads. You don't have permission to access this resource. So let's go ahead and see if we can remember the file name of it. So it says it wasn't found, so let's go ahead and just try uploading it again. And then F5. And I did have to upload it twice, but as you can see, our netcat did get a response back. So from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and upgrade this. And then from there, we should have basic access. So to upgrade this, what we're going to do is use a little bit of Python script. Import we're importing pty dot spawn parentheses quote slash bin slash bash quote boom. All right, so now we have a upgraded version. As you can see, we're on the Oopsie, so we can do who am I to figure us out. All right, now let's just go ahead and since we are on a web server, we can do cd var HTML, and then it should be cdn tag cdi, and then we'll just go ahead and go into the logins. Admin.php, db.php. Okay, so it said, what is the file that contains the password that is shared with the Robert user? It's gonna be one of these four, but we can figure that out by using a simple cat star. Type that to grep. Alright, so we got an admin password here. And then if we were to cat star grep so this is going to be in the db.php, but now we have a username Robert with his password megacorp user. That might come in handy. And I'm going to go ahead and write this password down that we found as well. Don't forget the exclamation points. So this is going to be db.php. What executable is run with the option tag group bug tracker to identify all files? Okay, so that's going to most likely be the find command, which we'll do here in a few. Not quite sure what the bug is yet. So let's go ahead and see what permissions we have with Robert. And we did find his password, which was M3G4C ORPUS3R. Alright, so now we're currently logged in as Robert, which is good. So now we can locate the user flag. So we're gonna go ahead and navigate to the desktop here. And then cat user.text. And there we have user.text. Copy that. Does it even ask for the user? Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and set that off to the side for now. I'm just storing all this information in a text file right now. Can't even type. I can't type at all. All right, so now we have that. Let's go ahead and, regardless of which user starts running the bug tracker executor, what user privilege we'll use to run it. All right. So we just ID Robert, groups, So it looks like he's part of a bug tracker group, which makes sense because they're talking about that here. So let's go ahead and find any information on that group. Bug tracker. We're going to set that to all right, and then I'll get back to you guys here in a second. All right, so that's finished. It looks like it came back with one result. So let's go ahead and get some more information on this using the ls command. So read write. So we have a SUID, which is good. Looks like it's owned by root, which could be a possible privilege escalation. So regardless of which user starts running the bug tracker executable, what user privilege will use to run it? So that's going to be root. All right. What does SUID stand for? So this is going to be set owner user ID, I believe. All right. What is the name of the executable being called in an insecure manner? All right, so we're not quite sure about that yet. So since the binary is owned by root and SUID is set, we can actually execute it as the root. So that'll be our way in. So if we were to execute it, see what happens here. Provide bug ID 3. Okay, so it's using it's calling files using some command which we're not quite sure of yet. So let's go ahead and run that again. See how it's pulling these. So when you enter an error, like since there's no fourth bug, it's telling us that it's using the cat command here, and it's looking for the report number 4, which doesn't exist. So the answer to what is the name of the executable being called in an insecure manner, that's going to be cat. Submit the user flag, which we have stored here. Just go ahead and grab this, copy it over. Submit that. So now we need to get to the root flag, which is going to be a little bit harder to get a hold of. But now that we know cat is being used insecurely, we can actually navigate to our temp folder. Now we're just gonna do a new file here, and we're just gonna call it cat. So echo is just pretty much copying what we type, and then we're sending that to a file called cat in our temporary folder. All right, now we did that. You can actually see if you go ls that we have a file called cat in our temp folder. So now let's go ahead and change the privileges or set the privileges using chmod. We want to create the executable chmod. There we go. And now we need to add this temp folder to our path environment. And to do that, we're going to export path equals /temp to the path. So this is just going to append it. And now if we were to execute the bug tracker again, user /bin bug tracker, and we'll just put 4 again, Now you can see we actually have root. All right, so that's good. So now we are supposedly root, so we can do who am I just to verify. And it does show we have root. Now we do cd ls, and then cd root, and there's our root text. But you got to remember, since we changed the cat to run our executable we created, we actually have to pull the root by using the /bin. So /bin/cat, because we want to use the cat from the bin instead of our temporary folder. And then we'll do /root/root.text. All right, there we have it. Go ahead and copy that on over. All right, guys, that was Oopsie. That was another fun box to do. This one was a little bit more difficult with the privilege escalation. I ended up having to look up some stuff and go back through my notes, but overall, I did learn quite a bit in this box.